Okay, so my fourth sprint of Square Dancing Rampage. Let's see, my menu hasn't changed, it's still the same, but this is now, you're focusing on easy mode. For the AI, credits are still running. In game, you can see I gotta click on dice to roll now. My dice here. Let's see here. I click on it. It'll tell you if it wins or loses. I rolled a 3 and I lost. Rolled a 2 and I lost. Rolled a 1 and I lost. Alright, rolled a 6 and I won. Anyway, that disappears when you first come up. It's going to eventually determine who's going first. As soon as I get the calculations to print out correctly, it's coming up next. I also have it now so that these guys highlight. I did some changing on their script, so they all use the same one. Now these guys, when close to them, you'll see I'll be able to click that on him, and the die reappears. And I'm not near him, it's no die. Get near him again, it's none until you click them, and then you'll see the dial reappear. Now it's going to just disappear right now because I don't have it set up to calculate damage and all that, but that's going to be coming up next. So, and of course my menu just brings up now, which is turn sound on and off, return to game, or the other one, return to main menu. And it brings back to just the game in which you see the click to roll and all that's there. Look at my die now working. See, it'll put up a random number of 4. Also kind of spins it. I'm working on so it doesn't spin it. But it does produce random numbers. It's similar to rolling it, it's just flip it around. And it is the number it shows. Just need to eventually display it. Alright, thank you. Okay, I'm going to go over my code I used for this week in Square Dancing Rampage. I made some pretty big changes. I switched over all my movement scripts for all of my directions and characters, and I made them into one player object. I made it more, now it's object oriented. You can see this is what I kind of had before. This is just back E for back Earl, but I had one for each character. I had up, down, back, left, right, up twice, down twice, left twice, right twice. Had all of that. Each one was a different script and one different for each person. So I took all of that and I combined it into one script. You can see now. This is all just a bunch of random stuff it was doing. But I got rid of that. That's all gone. Don't use it anymore. And I have everything now in my player object here. I'll use my game objects now through here. Now, a lot of this working through the touchdown. I have these now. Forward, forward twice, back, back twice, left, left twice, right, right twice. They all now equal bool. I can go in here and say, if it's forward, it'll transform it forward. Also, this is my random number for which they're moving now. So now every time I move, it's going to make a random move after I'm done moving. So when I'm done my turn, they'll make their move for their turn. At the moment, it's just the easy mode. They make their random moves. It's just a random temp from 1 to 9. The reason why I did it 1 to 9 was so that they could go forward, back, left, or right twice. Let's see, forward, back, left, or right. Now for the people that have to move forward twice, you can see now they can have a chance of moving forward twice here. This is the PAP 2. Those are the people who move forward twice, because PAP 1, they're only going to move in one direction no matter what. But these guys can move back, left twice, right twice. These guys here, they also have a chance of only moving once as well, you know, because they can move one or twice, so have that random chance of moving in any direction 1 or 2 spaces. So it's pretty random where they're going. And this is set for all the positions. I'm able to make all my movements here. Back twice, up, down, left, right. Up, down, left, right twice. But I fit all of it into the script, and it works for, this one script works for each one. Just have a few prefabs for the direction, and they'll just follow whoever whoever you click on, it'll follow over to them. And you just, you know, whatever you're tapping up, down, left, or right, it kind of serves as a controller to touch. Just whenever you touch them, it'll go to them. It'll become active on them. And whenever you're done, it'll become inactive. So you don't want to touch active, exit, it'll disappear, and then that way it'll reappear for the next person. Now this here, I have extending from player 1 attacker movement. And here in player 1 attacker movement is where I set up all my enums, stages. And this is going to be working for eventually in the future. I have my moves, so if he's idle, I have it so if he's selected, then this move is complete, and then of course the moves that he can make. And this one here, I haven't done really anything, but I set this up so when it's the game start, it'll eventually start with the roll. You know, player 1 roll, player 2 roll, it'll calculate it, the roll outcome. And then we're just going to have player 1's turn or player's 2 turn, and then their move. It's going to be if player 1, if player 2 move stop, then if player 1 and 2's attacking, player 1's attacking, and of course end turn. I had a player 2 end turn, but there's no sense. It's only just the one player right now, so just one player end turn. That not a lot of this one's used right now, but this is, like I said, set up for upcoming stuff soon in the future, hopefully next week or whenever I have time. And of course, end stages. Now the GUI I did a little bit of messing around with. This is just a bit of testing. I'm going to come back to a lot of this and either delete it or, yeah, probably just delete it. This is just how I was kind of fooling around with a lot of things. But this is where we get into it. I got all my touchdown for my stages. You know, selected to move. I also have this extending from my sample player, which I'll go into later. And I'll touch up, it'll set the stages to idle, but if it's selected, you know, it'll do that eventually. And then stages move is selected, on stay is selected. Down here, I guess you could say was where I got most of it. No, not on start, but down here on update. this is just setting my stages. Got if current, where is it down here for my moves? Here we go. This is where I got all my stages where I can call them from my player object to have them actually move. So if I got my transform translate vector forward times 1, that's how I'm going forward. And afterwards it'll move complete. In which case that's where the computer is going to make their move. So each time it's going to, I got the up and then up times twice for stages, and I'm able to call them down here. So on my forward one. Well, that pretty much works for everybody. Just this kind of extends from, this is the child of that. And of course this all actually extends from a sample player, which I used to kind of go over all the colors and everything and make sure everything there was correct, and you click on them and they highlight correctly, and that's all stuff I set in the actual editor to make that all happen though. My public variables for my color here. And this just shows my row and lane. This is something I kind of just did for debug, kind of look as I'm going through. So this was a lot of trial and error, just getting started on programming the objects. Next, I got here my dice script. This is what I use to get my dice rolling. Up and on there. Similar, I got my little stages here to let me know what was going on with it. This too was just for kind of debug purposes. But on start, I have my dice. I set that to active to make it true so you can see it. And this is the click. This is what you see. It says to click it. And I want my win and lose to be false, of course, at first. My stage is set it to idle, and my switch statement here. It'll show when it switches from idle to roll, and then outcome that lets you know if you win or lose, of course. On touch roll here, I got my random range from my roll 1 to 7. And the outcome. On touch exit just lets me just basically go back to idle. Just keeps my position here so it doesn't, it doesn't look all funky. And then win and loss set all that to false, and sets that to false. This is the actual dice, the spear on exit. But on touchdown, of course, dice is going to be active, and it's going to be through the stages rolled. If it was equal to player 2, dice is idle. Else if the roll is 1, this is where it actually flips it around. It'll transform it, 180 on the, I believe it's the X. And then rolls 1, whatever the player 2 rolls, they're going to roll random range between that. And if you are greater than them, your win is true. If not, your win is false. And I have it right now set to if you tied with them, well, you also win. So it's just, I'm going to eventually change that to a tie, have you actually have to roll again, the tiebreaker, but right now, just to make it easy, if you tie, you win. And same with this is just basically the same thing, just going through it, but for roll 2. So if you roll 2 when you tie, you win. Actually, it's with 1, I guess the only way you can win with the 1 is by tying them. But that's going to be changed. But this is basically the same here, just you know, greater than. If you beat them, you lose. Tie, you win. This goes all the way up to 6. And then, of course, my update, I have if the dice is idle, nothing, dice is rolled, and if the random range is this, you know, and if win equals true, you know, this and this. I was experimenting with it. I never really got too much. Actually, I end up trying to transform this guy to have him move to see what would happen. But trying to set it down here is where if you win, it'll do this. This is where it'll set the win to true and your lose to false. And it'll get rid of the telling you to click again. So this is the actual outcome. Else if win is false, you don't win, it's going to turn the lose up, tell you you lost, and turn the win off. And of course set it back to idle. And that's that script there. That's my dice. Went through that. I'm going to show you button 3 here just because I have some stuff from my dice in there to kind of hide it. This just helps me, you know, on touch exit so that just sets it false, make sure it's not there if there's anything else popping up, and you know, there's nothing getting in the way. It's really just what this is doing. Alright, hope you enjoyed my code. Thank you very much.